All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Geospatial Vendor Week, hosted for Surveyors Week by the Geoholics and Bad Elf. We appreciate everybody coming today. We're going to be recording this, so just be aware that we'll be putting this up through all the social media channels and on YouTube and through the Geoholics channels. Today, we have Jenna Levier. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Hi, Jenna. For 15 years, Jenna has been dedicated to serving the GIS community around Arizona. She works for Arizona State Land Department. She graduated with honors from Oregon State University. Did the Beavers win last night?
I have no idea.
I think they did. I think they did. Yay. So yeah, hey, March Madness. Since then, she's been learning, practicing, and teaching GIS for almost 2 decades. Jenna has extensive experience in data acquisition, database management, GIS user training, and project management. She served as the state data liaison for Arizona Land Resource Information System, ALRIS, for 10 years. Currently, Jenna serves on the Arizona Geographic Information Council, AZGEO, the Arizona State Board of Geographic and Historic Names, and is president-elect and the Arizona representative on the National States Geographic Information Council, the NSGIC. She is also the deputy state cartographer for the state of Arizona. It goes without saying, we're really happy to have Jenna here. She has an extensive background. So Jenna, why don't you take it away and drop some knowledge on us in this first day of Surveyors Week.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks for the great introduction. It sounds like when you read my introduction to me, it sounds like I'm way more important than I am. So I'm really excited to be here today. I was hoping that as the kickoff, we could have more of a discussion than a big presentation. The theme that Nick shared was pain points, right? So what makes our jobs difficult? And I assume the next step is how do we solve those issues, right? So through the Arizona Geographic Information Council, I'll say a little bit about what we are. AZGEO is the primary forum for GIS collaboration and coordination in Arizona. So my job is to kind of keep that discussion going and to bring people together and to learn about their pain points, to learn about the things that they're trying to achieve and support them in achieving it, essentially. Where that leads us is to better data-driven decisions in Arizona. We are more efficient, we're more inclusive, right? Everybody can play. So I want to talk a little bit about AZGEO and one of the biggest issues in Arizona. And I certainly can't take credit for the solutions because there's been a lot of people before me and a lot of people with me coming up with what works, right? So one of the biggest issues of collaboration is how do you do that? How do you do that digitally? How do we share data? How do we work on projects together? How do we do that in a space that provides information that's authoritative, that also allows access, right? Because I think when we're together, we make better decisions. The bigger the pool, the better we are. So AZGEO does that. Several years ago, I think it was like 2009, my predecessor, Gene Trovia, went to the legislature and got 2 things put into our statutes that are really important. One was a state clearinghouse, and that's to hold authoritative data. The other thing that he did was create data sharing opportunities between state and local governments that do not require an agreement. So it makes it easier to share. So out of that, what was born was AZGEO, our state clearinghouse. It was built at the time on the best technology that we had, but I think as we all know, looking back, it wasn't awesome. It wasn't that great. So we used that for a long time and we did what we could with the technology that we had. And in 2017, 2018, we got a lot of feedback from folks, and it had been building for a while, that we needed a better platform. That what AZGEO is great, but it wasn't serving the need of the community. It wasn't easy to collaborate. We could share data and keep it secure if that was what was wanted, or publicly available if that's what was wanted. So we had some controls. We had a mechanism to join together and have some conversation and solve problems together, but it really wasn't very user-friendly. So AZGEO and work groups of AZGEO, so AZGEO work group, as well as our data committee, and we have a lot of people participating in that, helped us to come to a more modernized solution. So Land was the champion, Arizona State Lands was the champion, and helped us to fund a new platform for AZGEO. So I'm going to share that this morning. Let me share my screen. And Nick, I'm not keeping a tight eye on the time, but help me if I go over. Let's see, there we go. Okay, so can you see my screen? Is that good? All right. So this is the new and improved AZGEO. So what we did, we decided to build it on ESRI's solution called Hub. And what this does is provide a really fabulous platform for data sharing and public access, data discovery, right? So you can see this is our landing page. This is where you can get more information about AZGEO. Generally, what this means and what we explain here is that AZGEO is open to everybody. You don't have to be a registered user unless you want to be. So as a registered user, well, let me go back. As a public user, if you just want to discover data, we have a data page, and it's all open data. We work with local entities, as well as other state agencies and federal folks to get their data into our open data platform so that Arizona has a one-stop shop for authoritative data. What this does is allow people to use the right data for their projects, right? And to contribute the right data. So we work with all of the locals in order to integrate at least services so that they're discoverable. So as the public, you can just come and find what you need. If you're a registered user, there's some benefits, and registration is free. So what comes with being a registered user is an ArcGIS Online account, 200 credits, and the ability to join groups and collaborate across platforms, across jurisdictions. We've seen that it really works very well. Our natural resources work group through AZGEO is working on a solution for water data and having the best water data that we can in Arizona for everybody to use from the same source, right? So they're collaboratively improving upon the NHD for Arizona. And for those that aren't familiar, it's the National Hydrography Dataset, excuse me. And for Arizona, the people that need that for their business needs, ADWR, Department of Water Resources, ADEQ, as just some examples, it doesn't suit their needs out of the box. The NHD doesn't. So we've got a group of volunteers that come together, and they're using a web application within AZGEO to collaborate and make the data better. They are vetted to work on the data, and it's overseen by AZGEO, so we know what comes out of it is something that's been vetted and something that will work for the community. So that's one really great example, right? All right. So I'm not going to get into I'm not going to go too deeply into AZGEO, but I do encourage you to check it out. It's one of our primary solutions for collaboration. I'm going to quickly go over to the AZGEO website as well so that folks know what AZGEO is about and where we're at. So probably one of the most informative things quickly about AZGEO, I'm going to go to our organizational chart. So a couple things to keep in mind. AZGEO is a governor-appointed board. So the top level, 35 people from all jurisdictions, state, local, federal, private. We have a partnership with APLS and a representative from APLS on our board, which really helps us. And this gives you kind of an idea of our structure, right? So we have the council, And then where the work is done is underneath the council. So we have 6 committees, and then we have a whole bunch of work groups. So what this group probably is more interested in than anything are things like our cadastral work group, our state plane coordinate system 2022, the Arizona Geodetic Advisor. I believe Brian Fisher has been on GeoHolix, and is within this group of colleagues. So he leads that group, and what they're doing is coming up with the best low distortion projections to represent the business needs of Arizona. And so the stakeholders come together through AZGEO to give him feedback, so that he graciously has volunteered to develop the low distortion projections for Arizona. It's huge. So that kind of gives you a broad overview of what we do, and you can see our structure. Now, a couple of really important things is that we're inclusive. So anybody with interest can join, can join us for meetings, can contribute to the dialogue. And like I said at the beginning, we're better together. So I think I'm right about 15 minutes. Nick, I want to open it up and have more of a discussion. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, maybe, if I can. All right.
And I think that was perfect. I just wanted to say thank you for the blitz of 15 minutes of information. For recording's sake, I just want to really hone in on how powerful and how much opportunity you have if you were to decide to get a registered account with AZGEO. Yeah, I mean, getting that online AGOL account, having credits, being able to go collect data with your apps on your phones. I mean, that's super awesome. So I wanted to say thank you for sharing that with us, Jenna. And then also with AZGEO, just being involved with all of the state's different geodetic endeavors. And it's pretty interesting. I know that we work together on the UAS, do some collaboration there, but that's wonderful. I wanted to just also say, hey, Kent, did you have any thoughts? Start off our kind of 15 minutes of chat from the GeoHolix side of things.
I'm not so much from the Geoholic side of things, but I do have a question for Jenna, if she could share maybe a little bit more about the upcoming AZGEO Education and Training Symposium.
Yeah, absolutely. So every year we host a statewide GIS conference. Essentially, it has a broad base of topics. So this year we are going to be virtual again. Last year was our first fully virtual symposium. Amazingly, with the novices that we are, we pulled it off, and it was pretty great. We had over 600 people participate, and it was a week-long event. So hands-on training is available, lots of really great discussion and opportunity for collaboration. So this year we're going to do virtual again, only because we're playing it safe with COVID. Essentially, if we are all able to see each other at that time, we're looking at August, end of August for it. If we're all able to see each other, we're going to have regional watch parties so that we can have some social piece, some networking piece to go along with the conference. So there'll be a nominal fee for 3 to 4 days of content that is and I'm biased. My opinion is that the content is some of the best that we can get. So nominal, I think under $50 to come for the whole time. We'll have networking opportunities as well as different mechanisms for coming up with solutions, right? Different conversations. So yeah, I'm excited.
And that's open to anybody, correct?
Anybody. Yep. We'll have special rates for students because we want students to access the network. We're big believers. I think everybody that participates are big believers in promoting our next generation of geospatial professionals and people, right? We need to bring the students in so they can replace us. Maybe someday we can retire.
What were the dates on that again, Jenna?
What's that?
What were the dates again on that?
We're still working it out. I believe it's going to be the last week in August. So stay tuned. One of the best ways to learn about AGIC related things is to join our listserv. You can get information about that on our website under participation. So it's an easy thing. You subscribe and then you'll get way more emails than you want from me. But it'll keep you in the loop, or you can visit our website. And that works too. Maybe the folks would be interested in kind of a use case of AZGEO, Nick.
Yeah.
Bad Elf partnered with another private entity that is supporting Cave Creek in their data collection and their infrastructure building, their GIS infrastructure building. That might be kind of interesting to listeners, like what the basis of that is. Do you want to start with your perspective?
Yeah, I can drop a little bit of information on this. So we had a customer that engaged with AZGEO, and well, I mean, we've had several customers actually do that, but get the online account, be able to get into the ESRI ecosystem in the online world, connect with our new GNSS system, the Bad Elf Flex, worked with the town of Cave Creek as well, and we're able to get them on board. What was really nice is the collaborativeness, being able to, from their perspective, they would say, they almost have daily meetings. I mean, I don't know, real quick. Side note, and this is supposed to be lighthearted, I don't know if I'd want to have a client or customer having daily meetings, but that may get a little overbearing. But no, they literally can collaborate on a nearly daily basis from both perspectives, because all the data are shared online. They all stream together, so it's been working out really well for them. I honestly, I've been promoting it quite a bit in all the different kind of academic channels, and I actually had a call to charge or whatever to challenge people in the Sustainable Cities Network. It's a big group out there that a lot of sustainable scientists and researchers types. But that if they're not using GIS in their organization, the time is now. There's no excuse. It's literally free. You just need to spend some time. And with YouTube University and what's out there these days, you can really learn quite a bit. Or tap into maybe some of the community college system, online classes. There's just a lot of ways, a plethora, if you will, ways to learn GIS. And it's really awesome to have that ability. But then you have the access to the software and everything, but then you also get access to all of the data right there. So I mean, it's hosted and curated, as you said, through AGIC and such. But yeah, so it's been really, really cool. Again, it's neat to see the ability to be inclusive and have everybody tap into that.
Yeah, I would agree. I think a couple distinctions. So we do vet folks that can contribute to the kind of global community. So anybody that's out there just making data isn't necessarily going to be the ones that can share data on AZGEO. So the data that you'll come across as far as for use for professional activities, that data has all been vetted. Now that said, as an individual user, if you're practicing or if you're working on a pet project, you can create data in AZGEO. And we do limit sharing. You couldn't share with the general public, but you can share with other people, so you can still collaborate. Yeah, and within groups. So, there's a lot. One of the things that we love about it is how flexible it is, right? We can be really nimble in meeting the needs of our customers as well as the needs of our colleagues. So if there's data that's sensitive, we can lock it down so nobody can get to it except the folks that need to. I think another really cool part about AZGEO and the new build is that all of the applications that we're accustomed to accessing through ArcGIS Online, things like story maps, web app builder, there's a new experience builder, there's also collector and those kinds of apps. You have access to all of that. So particularly for students, when they're leaving the university and all the tools that they've become so accustomed to being able to use to promote themselves as well as to do their work, they can still have access to that. So that's
I
pretty
think that
cool.
used to cost like $100 for a student license per year. So you're saving a lot of people money. Will, you don't have to raise your hand, bud. You can just talk.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Jenna. Yeah, I got to go to the live AGIC conference a couple years ago, and I was really blown away by just the organization, the types of presenters they had. I mean, they were national speakers. They had people in there from the state land department in Arizona, big players in the game. And I was just, it was, and I think I was maybe one of 3 surveyors that were there. So, I mean, it opened my eyes, and I've been spreading the word as much as I can.
Awesome.
And yeah, so I just wanted to put that out there that I can't wait to do that again.
Will, you've got some homework till August. We need to have 6 surveyors for this year's. You're going to help lead the charge. We're going to double the surveyor effort.
I think we should up the game a little bit.
Yeah.
Baker's dozen. We can do it.
Kent's coming with me this. All right. But yeah, and the AZGEO, I've been working with that, and from the surveyor side, it's the terminology is a little bit confusing. The way that the groups work, I wasn't, familiar with that, the way that you have to be invited. So maybe if you could go into that a little bit more, I'm sure people would, might save you a few emails down the road.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks, Will. And thanks for the kudos on the conference. I really hope that we have more surveyors involved than just 3. I think we do, but it makes our community way richer to include everybody, particularly surveyors. I think they help us stay in our lane. And that's important. As far as groups and joining groups on AZGEO, they are by invite. So you can request access, but that doesn't mean you're going to get access. So we have group admins in charge of each group, and you'll see on the website that we have a huge variety of groups. The public safety group is a good example. So public safety group is reserved for any first responder, essentially, fire, medical, police. They collaborate to support the 911, next gen 911 network, as well as some other public safety needs. So that group is really locked down. If you were to request, and you can request access, but you may not get it, that's going to be determined by the admin. Other groups are a little more open. Some of the AGIC groups, you still have to request access, but likely you'll get in. And you'll have some follow-up. So it is confusing a little bit, the groups are, but what they're meant to do is facilitate a goal, right? So you want to be able to control the players in your team to achieve your goal. That's kind of the idea. Like land department has a group. We keep that exclusively for our employees so that we can use it to leverage the data for our business needs. Other entities do the same. I hope that helps explain groups a little better.
Yes, definitely. And just, you were talking about a use case. So when you first download it, and for me, I was just trying to create a little a job number GIS, right? Just so that I can associate job numbers with a geo position. And so I was kind of confused on, well, I just want to play around with this. So what group do I need to be invited to if I just kind of want to build my own little web map to geolocate where my jobs are at? I just didn't know how to get started with that, or which group I maybe need to be invited to, or maybe, that's kind of some of the questions I think people will have.
Great. So I would say you don't have to be a part of a group.
Okay.
You can do that without being part of a group on your own, and then you can decide if you want to share that. You can request contributor access, which means that allows you to share it with the rest of the community, and then that data is vetted. It's a very simple process. We have a curator in place that does this for his whole job, so he helps with vetting and getting people the access that they need and getting to the communities they need.
But Will, if you just want to create a web map with your job number or, like of your house or whatever, you can create that within the content pane in ArcGIS Online, and that would be shared with your username. So if you wanted to download an app on your phone, it would connect to that. When you go to share, that's when you start to get involved with the groups. But so we are getting close to 30 minutes. I wanted to do a couple quick things. One, I wanted to say again, thank you, Jenna. Two, I wanted to plug that tomorrow at 8 a.m. Actually, Will, who's here with us today, William Wing, RLS, will be talking about some project surveyor stuff, some pain points from out in the field. So please come back tomorrow. Again, more free stuff. Invite people. You get more chances to win. That's actually, so if we can double the surveyors and we can triple this meeting for tomorrow, I promise I'll get the tech working. I was also Kent, I wanted to give you a moment for Geoholics. And then I wanted, after Kent's kind of closing thoughts here, I was gonna ask to lightheartedly just see what is everybody's favorite type of coffee. And I was just gonna say, we could go around the table real quick and see what kind of coffees or morning beverages everybody likes. So Kent, any wise words to round this down for day one?
So what was the question about coffee you said?
Yep. So first off, what kind of coffee do you like?
Oh, I'm pretty simple. I just like a black, maybe a little bit of sweetener. Not too exciting there.
Are you like?
I drink way too much of it though.
You're an all-day drinker then.
Yeah, pretty much. As far as the Geoholics goes, the only one thing I just want to mention is last week we started using Clubhouse, as well as our normal platform for recording the podcast, and it seemed to work out really, really well. So for those of you that aren't aware of Clubhouse, it's kind of a audio only app. It's only for iOS users, which is creating some challenges right now. But if you're on Clubhouse, search for the Geoholics. I'm going to be creating a room today, actually, for tomorrow evening. So if you're on Clubhouse and we're following each other, you'll get a notification, and that will allow you to jump in on the room and then basically hear us record the podcast, which is pretty cool. A little bit different dynamic. And at the end of the podcast, if you hang out, throughout, you can raise your hand and be brought up on stage and ask questions to either us as the host or the guests. So pretty cool thing. We're still working through, I guess, perfecting it, but I think it's going to take, the Geoholics and podcasting in general to a whole nother level.
Awesome. How about you, Larry? Anything from Bad Elf? What kind of coffee do you like?
Oh, for coffee, it's something with French vanilla or a good Kona, no doubt. I like things that really kind of hit you. So the bitter, the better.
There you go. Anything from Bad Elf?
No, just a thanks to the group, and thank you, Jenna, for doing this. Definitely a lot of information, and we wish the best for AZGEO and everything you're doing.
Thank
So
you.
you're up, Jenna, then.
All right. Coffee. It's a requirement, right? That the day doesn't start without it. I would say sweet and creamy. I like milk and honey in my coffee. It's not the same otherwise. Yeah, and thank you guys. I'm pleased to be here, and yeah, come visit us with AZGEO.
Milk and honey. All right. What about you, Josie? What kind of coffee do you like?
I'm all about the just black coffee, but I add chocolate protein to it. So it's like the creamer part, but it's still like sort of breakfast as well.
I like it. I like a mocha breakfast. What about you, Nolan?
Yeah.
Oh, something light, like a blonde roast, a little bit of creamer in it. So
That's more my style. I'm sort of a medium to a blonde roast with, light cream, light sugar. What about you, Trent? I know you're driving out there. What kind of coffee do you like in Vegas?
I am not a coffee guy. I'm a protein shake guy.
There you go. So do you not do any caffeine then?
I do not. Well, some of you guys know my story, but I woke up on a steam room floor with 17 stitches to the forehead, which stopped my 6 to 8 cans of Dr. Pepper a day. So no more
Okay.
caffeine.
Yeah.
There we go. Protein shakes. I've met Trent before. He's very fit. Good deal. Will, I don't know how to follow that. I'm sorry you got to go after that.
I'm sorry.
Right?
I'm sorry.
That's surveyor stories. We've got my in-laws got us hooked on this New Mexico pinon roasted coffee, and they have a bizcochito flavor that's really good. And then we have a local honey guy right down the road, so we buy honey from him, and I just have mine black with a spoon of honey in it.
There you go.
It'll it'll get you going.
You guys are getting all that good honey, get all the antibodies and whatnot, nutrients. That's awesome. All right. Any other things for the day? Otherwise, we'll sign off and hopefully we'll see everybody tomorrow. If you don't show up tomorrow, it's going to, we're going to come looking for you. So Josie,
Hey,
we'll see you tomorrow. Nolan, we'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, I wanted to say, Trent, awesome job sponsoring the NASCAR the other day. That's the first time I've ever seen a NASCAR sponsored by a surveying company. So good job. That was awesome.
Thank you, sir. We'll probably look at doing it something in the fall too, where it's kind of on that West Coast swing again, but we'll see how it goes. See what kind of traction we can get out of that.
Yeah, Nick got a firsthand view of that.
Yeah, Trent and I have been chatting about it. He's my new BFF.
That's right. That's right.
I've already got a challenge out to Larry on how many flexes we need to sell so we can get a bad elf on a NASCAR.
Collaborative effort. We'll get there.
Awesome. We appreciate it, everybody. Have a wonderful Surveyors Week. Be productive and safe.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Everybody.
Cheers.